Try this a new way. I'm gonna show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. Feeling alright, I'm playing your game like I won't win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. You feeling alright? I'm just gonna wait in the background, watching you talk to her. I know this might look bad, but I'm just gonna melt in the background, watching you lean into her. I'm a fool. I just wanna get close to you. Yeah, I wanna get close. I'm a fool. I know. Are you thinking about us too? 'Cause I don't know. Are you missing it just like I do? Are you worried about me too? 'Cause I'm thinking aloud, I'm wondering about you, eh? I don't even know what it feels like when your eyes are staring at me. I miss them. I'm about to lose it. All of my friends telling me to leave for the night. It's for the best. I'm a fool. I just wanna get close to you. Yeah, I wanna get close. I'm a fool. I know. Are you thinking about us too? Are you missing it just like I do? Are you worried about me too? 'Cause I'm thinking aloud, I'm wondering about you, eh? About you, baby. Want your kisses in the morning light. Wanna be next to you every night. No, I shouldn't love you, but I might. 'Cause your lips, they taste like cherry wine. You're no good for me. We're so bittersweet, but I still want you. I do. Baby, can't you see what you do to me? I just can't resist you. You got me drunk in love, I can't sleep. I need to sober up from this dream. I can't deny I can't deny you. I can't deny I can't deny you. Na 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 na.
What's up, y'all? Sean here. Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. My name is Sean. I'll be your host. Tonight, we are going to talk about old professional tech and whether it's good enough, whether it's up to par with what's coming out nowadays. I just put a video out where I purchased the DJI Inspire. It's something that I've been wanting to buy for a while. I've always wanted to try an Inspire. I've flown other people's Inspires for brief moments, but I've always wanted to kind of have one of my own. I love putting things on drones and putting them up in the air. So really wanted a drone that could handle a little bit of weight. So instead of purchasing the Air 2S, now I'm not saying I'll never have an Air 2S, but as of launch day, I did not purchase the Air 2S. I do have several drones that I'm planning on selling, so the Air 2S might show up or not. Sorry, I hit a squirrel with Brett's comment. I don't even know what I was saying. So what's up, Nacho? What's up, Eat More Possum? What's up, DJI? Oh, okay. So he threw me off with this. Are you the old professional? And I was like, squirrel. Yes, I'm the old professional. My hair is tripping right now. I'm not liking it. But tonight's going to be very, very relaxed. So if you're looking at a professional YouTuber that's got it all together, you might want to go elsewhere tonight. But if you just want to hang out and chill and talk about my new Inspire, talk about my Insta360 Pro, talk about the Crystal Sky that I bought that's outdated. There's several things that I purchased over the last several months that, I was like, do I want to be just in the fold of all the other YouTubers drinking the DJI Kool-Aid and just putting out a new video about, I did put videos out about the Air 2S. Don't get me wrong. I did try to get some clickbait with just putting the word DJI Air 2S in there. Still doing that, but I also, I'm also finicky on my channel. There's been some times where I did $20 Tuesdays and I tried to find, good deals for you guys to, accomplish your tasks, but not necessarily spend top dollar for the newest thing. So I've purchased old cameras. Actually purchased a lot of old cameras on this channel. And this year I just decided to, all the new stuff is coming out. Maybe I can get some good deals on some of the older stuff. If you think about like people that use Canon cameras, DSLRs, there are people that buy a camera and they use it for years before ever upgrading. And it's a little weird for me as a reviewer that kind of always gets the newest and greatest. I'm an early adopter just because of this channel, not really personality wise, but there are times when I buy older gear. So we're going to talk about the Inspire, what I've done so far. You can see my 3D printer back there going nuts. I don't know if I can share it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let me share that. So this is what I'm printing. It is, it's all in pieces right now, but what's up, Stephen Drones? But it's kind of my concoction that I came up with, and I'm printing it in 2 halves. And I'll show you why. Let me just, let me get rid of all that. I want to load. Where is it? Oh, maybe I didn't save it. So I got an idea. I can show you this. Let's put that over here. All right, so this is basically a mount. Actually, it's just a piece of plastic that this guy built to, and this clamps onto the Zenmuse mount that's on the Inspire. This kind of clips onto the back of it. And so what I've done, let me go over here. What I've done is I've cut it in half. Dang it. All right, what I've done is I've flipped it and I've cut it in half. And I put half of a GoPro mount on this side and half of a GoPro mount on the other side. And so after that's done printing, I'm going to glue it together, but it's still going to be held together with the GoPro mount. Once I screw the GoPro mount in, it'll all kind of hold itself together. That's the plan. I printed. I'll show you something else that I printed. All right. So this is something else that I printed earlier today. This guy had made this TPU mount that kind of wraps around the bottom of the battery door on the Inspire. And then, but since I can't print TPU with my current printer, what I decided to do was just cut it in half. And then this part and this part is going to be held on by the battery. And this one, by the time I put the camera in here and screw, nut and bolt this tight, then it's going to hold everything together. I actually printed that one already, so I can show you guys that. So Stephen Drones is late tonight. Eat More Possum is even an older professional. Nice. So Eat More Possum says he highly recommends the 44 millimeter lens that's compatible with the X5. That was his favorite. Let's see if I can find that, because I really want your advice, Brent. So we're going to do X5 45 millimeter. Is it the prime lens? Is it this guy? And is that for zooming in? Right now I've got the 15 millimeter lens on it, and it is, it's very, so I'm also using it as an Osmo, so maybe that's not the right thing to say. When I use it on the Osmo, the 15 millimeter is too close to people. It's really hard to like move in and get a wide shot. The guy that I bought my Inspire from, he has the 12 millimeter. Let's see. he has this guy, and he wants to sell it to me for $350. I put it on. It looks great. And this guy's in this video is just showing off, right? He's got a nickel on it to balance it out. That's funny. So yeah. So that's what Brent misses most is the lenses. And this is the lens that, I don't know how to copy that, that Brent recommends. Tonight is going to be a super chill night. I almost went out to get dinner, but I couldn't. I didn't have enough time. I had a meeting running late, and then I completely got lost track of time while I was making that that mount back there. So there's one other mount that I've been curious to try, but and I've worked with him in the past. He runs a company called DJI Mounts, and we were talking before he ever built this company. I was talking to him back and forth way back in the day when, let's see if he's got Mavic Pro 1. So I worked with him a little bit on the mounts for the Mavic Pro 1. That was kind of back when my YouTube channel was starting. And so I did several videos promoting his mounts and stuff like that. And he sent me a couple for free. I've done this mount. It was before it was labeled. And we would talk back and forth on Thingiverse. I did that in a video. And now that I think about it, it was so stupid that we were doing that. But yeah, so that was back in the day. Oh, look, I'm even on here. That's kind of cool. So yeah, that's cool. I didn't know my video was there. That excites me. So he's got a mount for, we're going to do the Inspire 1. I love his design. It's this guy. And basically what it is it has this arm that attaches to the landing gear. And as the landing gear goes up, the camera comes down. So the camera is like below what's going on. And he's got a video of it in action, I believe. Maybe not on here. He's got several mounts. He's got this mount. The one that I'm actually kind of curious about is he has one that goes in the cap. It's basically like the lens cap that goes right here. For the there it is. It's right there. So curious about that, but check this video out. I think this is very, it's just awesome. So he's got the Inspire. I can't tell if that's an Inspire 2 and Inspire 1. Kind of looks like he's got Inspire 1 and an Inspire 2. But yeah, it just kind of pulls the camera down underneath it. So anyway, kind of thinking about that. If, when I was looking at his company, there were, technology for 360 cameras wasn't amazing yet. What's up, 400 AGL? Welcome to the chat. Tonight's going to be relaxed. Dinner's going to get here pretty soon. I ordered pizza because I didn't have enough time to go out and get dinner ahead of time. So in the middle of this stream, I'm going to be getting some pizza. Mel, I got a message on the video of the Inspire, but I don't know if I got any of the other messages. This has been a crazy work week, so I apologize if I haven't been on top of everything else. But I would love to get some advice from you on the Inspire. Actually, you're welcome to come in the chat if you want to. Oh, the email came back to you. That's not good. You're welcome to come on if you want to. Let me see. Let's see if you're on here. Not there. Here we are. All right, Mel, I just sent you the link. Again, I have no plan for tonight. I just decided to talk about, everybody's buying the newest thing that DJI puts out, and I just decided to use my money wisely, and I bought that for half the price. So I had somebody, I think it was Crypto, that was here last week. He said that the Air 2S 100% would be the better choice. But I'll fly it eventually, but I had to weigh out 1-inch sensor or 4/3, your micro 4/3 sensor. I can carry a payload. Battery life is not good at all on the Inspire from what I've seen. But the Inspire is one of those kind of drones that I would have a planned out shot. I wouldn't just be flying for fun. So I would take it up in the air, get my shots, bring it down. I've got 3 batteries that I can spend more than a half hour in the air if I want to. So, but yeah, I shouldn't have my email open on that screen over there. Mel, let me know if you got the link I sent you. And Brent, you're welcome to come in too if you want to. I actually have a couple videos from Brent that I was going to ask you permission on this chat if I could show them. There's Mel. There he is.
Hey, buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me all right?
Got you loud and clear.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Man, I got to tell you, Out of all the drones I've owned and sold, at one time I had 11 DJI drones.
Wow.
2 of them were Inspire 1 version 2s.
Nice.
Which I presume is what you have, is the version 2.
So
the way you can tell when you look
at
I had
the version 2.
When you look at the landing gear mechanism, if it looks like an upside down wishbone, it's a version 2. If it has 2 metal rods, 2 metal plates that make the landing gear go up and down from the screw drive, that's a version 1.
All right, let's look.
So that's how you can tell the difference. That's the easiest way, just by looking at it. Okay, that's a version 1. Yep.
I think it's an upgraded version 1 is what I believe I have.
What would be upgraded?
From what I understand, the original one, the original blades just screwed on, where I've got the snap-ons.
Mine were snap-on, so I don't know.
Yeah, and
push and click like a Mavic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if this is original.
Let's see your. Can you hold it a little closer to the camera? Yeah, yep. That's a bigger gimbal plate than the original. So that's probably got that's the larger gimbal plate of the 2.
Yeah.
There was another one that was a little shorter, about half that length.
Okay.
So it's got some upgraded parts on it, but it doesn't make it a version 2. Unless they actually changed the motors and changed the boards and gave it the IMU and stuff from the version 2. Because it had different EFC. I think it had different ESCs and different motors as well.
Okay.
Hello, Bob. How are you, sir? Hello, everybody in chat.
Bob Casey, what's up?
That drone is so cool. And there's some things that I oh my God, when you were flying it and you were going, man, I'm going to crash this thing because I'm pulling back on the stick and I think it's going to come down and it's actually moving backwards.
Oh man. It was in mode 1, not mode 2.
I was going to say, you can switch that in the app. Did you?
Yeah.
So now it flies the way it's supposed to, right?
Right.
Or does what you expect anyway.
Yeah. The guy that sold it to me had it in mode 3.
Well, there's only 2 modes, mode 1 and mode 2, I think.
There's a mode 3 in there, and I think it's like I don't even remember what the stick pattern is, but it's but he had like all of his camera controls. I don't know how he described it to me, but he handed me the controller and he's like, okay, take over. And I pushed the stick, like I barely nudged the stick and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And I was like, all right. So I gave him the remote control back and I was like, this isn't my drone yet.
Yeah.
Fix it.
Now I don't know about the version 1, but I know the version 2 had the option to have 2 controllers.
Yeah.
You can set one controller to operate the gimbal and the other controller to operate the bird. So you have one guy fly the drone and the other guy flies the camera.
Okay.
Okay. That I don't know if that one will do it, but if it does, then you can actually run it with 2 pilot operation. You can have a guy fly the aircraft for you while you do nothing but worry about keeping your shot framed, get your shot, etc.
That's awesome.
That way, the other guy has to worry about not crashing the drone into something, and all you have to worry about is getting your video shot. So that's kind of a cool feature.
I did that with Ken out at the abandoned airstrip. Out kind of where he lives, on his Inspire 2, and I manned the camera. And I got so dizzy because he'd be turning the drone one way and I'd be turning the camera a different way, and I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?"
Yeah, see, you can't look at the drone if you're running the camera. You cannot look at the drone; it'll mess you up.
Well, I was in goggles, so I was getting like squeamish because like I had no control over where my eyes were moving. I was like, "What?" But it's kind of funny.
One of the nice features, and the reason that the drone is designed the way it is for the legs to come way up in the air, is because that camera rotates 360 underneath the aircraft. Right?
Yep.
So when you've got your display hooked up to it and you're looking at your screen, and it doesn't matter, it can be Crystal Sky or tablet or whatever, okay?
Okay.
If you take your finger and pick a spot, doesn't matter where, just press and hold on the screen like that, and then start moving your finger around on the screen, the camera will track where you point.
Oh, so it does exactly what the Osmo does.
Yeah. So,
okay.
If you got somebody flying the drone and you're tracking a car, all you got to do is find the car in the image, put your finger on it and hold it, and then move your finger to follow the car, and the camera will follow the car.
That's awesome.
Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to tell you.
That's cool.
A word of wise flying.
Okay.
Years ago, when I got my first Inspire, a guy that had two, and that's all he's flown for years is Inspire 1s. Bought an Inspire 2 and sent it back, didn't like it, stayed with his Inspire 1s. He's got other things since then. But he said, go in the app and turn off the automatic landing gear feature. And I said, well, why? Because when I take off, the landing gear go up, and then when I come back and land, I just wait a second, landing gear come down, and then I can land it. He goes, that's the problem. You have to wait a second. If something happens to where you have to put the bird on the ground, you don't have time to wait for that automated landing gear system to work.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I said, okay, that's possible. So I turned it off. The next time I was up in his area flying, this is up in Michigan, I was flying at the bridge that crosses over to Canada.
Okay.
And there's a railroad museum and stuff there, and I was flying the railroad museum, and then I turned to fly out over the river, and I thought I was on my side of this big 8-foot square piling that holds the bridge up. I was actually on a collision course with it almost on the other side of it, but I couldn't tell because of the depth. It was so far away. I clipped the concrete pillar with the right front prop and shaved half of the prop off.
Oh, gosh.
The drone ended up out over the river doing this, right? Spinning, all out of control in ADI mode. I managed to fly it back over land, and because I couldn't hold the yaw because of the prop, it wanted to yaw. Mm-hmm. So I got it to a position where I was close, and then I yawed it the opposite way and 360'd it and landed it. But if I'd have had to wait for those landing gear to come down, it would have been landing on the gimbal.
Oh, yeah, because it couldn't hover.
Because it wouldn't.
It was
flipping
out.
Yeah. And I've got a video on my channel about hitting that bridge and shaving the prop off. I shaved a good half of the prop off both ends on one prop.
Wow.
So it was, and the drone almost went in the river because of it. But if I had, fly that thing in ADI mode, it's big and heavy. Fly it in ADI mode, get used to it. Make it wobble. Get used to recovering it, because I'll tell you what, when that thing gets crazy, you need your wits about you, and you need all your stick talents at your fingertips. So turn that feature off. I mean, that literally saved me from crashing the drone on the gimbal, because I was able to put the landing gear down in flight on my way back. And when you put the drone in flight mode from travel mode, the switch is in the down position, right, on your controller. When you take off and fly, the landing gear go up, but the switch is still in the down position. So the best thing to do is just turn that feature off, get in the habit. When you take it, when you lift off, do your ops check, forward motion, side, back, everything, make sure everything's working like it's supposed to. Then raise your landing gear, make that part of your checklist. Raise your landing gear, go fly your shot. Because you forget to put your landing gear down, you pan the camera, you'll get a leg, you'll get a foot in the shot every time. But so I just, in my takeoff checklist, it was lift off, do my ops check, make sure everything was working, raise the landing gear, go fly the flight.
So the little switch that you rock back and forth to take it out of travel mode, is that the landing gear switch?
That's the landing gear switch. So
okay.
when the drone's in the case and you bring it out and you stick a battery in, you flip the switch 5 times, right? And then the landing gear go from this to this.
Yep.
Okay. Same thing to make them go from this to this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'll tell you something else. The sensors on the bottom of the drone, when you put the drone back into travel mode or case mode, where you're going to put it back in the case, make sure that it's on flat level surface, flat level ground, because you know how the drone, how it raises the landing gear, what looks like halfway and then stops. You know what makes it stop?
It sees the ground.
It sees the ground underneath it. If you put two of the right 2 legs up on a 2x4 and leave the other 2 on the ground and hit the switch, it will lower to a position like this. To where
really?
It sure will.
What did they do that for?
Because it comes down this far from the ground according to the sensor.
Right.
Okay, so if you raise 2 legs up, the right 2 legs, it's still going to bring that sensor to that far off the ground. But now the legs are up too much to fit in the case.
I feel like if I would have engineered it, I would have just made travel mode like
make it programmed that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Automatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was wondering why the guy that sold it to me, when he was trying to put it back into travel mode, he stuck his cell phone underneath the sensors because he was like, it needs something shiny to reflect or something like that.
No.
But I've been doing it on top of the travel case, and it's been working just fine.
You can do it on a landing pad. You can do it on the blacktop. You can do it on the sidewalk. You can do it on the travel case. You have to be really careful on the case because the case is just so big, and if it starts to slip or something, it might fall off. So
okay.
I always just did mine on the ground.
Okay.
Sidewalk, blacktop, doesn't matter. They don't move sideways far enough in their motion to bind or cause a problem.
Okay.
But it's really important that it's a perfectly flat surface, because when the body of the drone's coming down and it's watching the ground, and then when it gets that far is when it stops, and that's how it knows when to stop, is by those sensors. So if he was putting something under it, it was actually stopping a 1/4 inch short of where it's supposed to be in travel mode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm getting all kinds of knowledge. Glad you showed up.
The batteries are, if you can find them, they're few and far between. They're hard to come by.
Right.
I know Jim Boyd's got one that he's got some dead batteries that, are paperweights. I've got a box full of them in my garage. It's just, they're hard to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is a fantastic flying airplane. Fantastic flying aircraft.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun on Sunday when I was flying it.
Mm-hmm.
I've only taken it up once. I flew it with the guy that I bought it from for about a half hour, but yeah, Brent said something to where I could adjust the controls so they're not so touchy.
Yeah, in the app, there's adjustments for it's kind of like adding Expo. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there's adjustments in the camera to slow the camera gimbal down to where it doesn't move up and down so fast. And camera gimbal is another thing I wanted to give you a tip on about the Inspire. When you're taking off, or before you take off, before you land, always tilt your gimbal all the way up or up at an angle. And the reason for that is if you leave it level or down, when you come down, what are you doing with the props? Or blowing up sand, right? Now you're blowing that stuff and bouncing it off the front of the glass on the lens. If you turn the lens up and point the lens at the sky, that's all bouncing off the bottom of the lens and the bottom of the camera where it can't hurt anything, but potentially could over time damage the glass on the front of the lens. So
that's a great tip.
Always point it up before you start the motors to take off. And when you come in to land, your landing checklist, landing gear down, camera up, land. Yeah.
Okay. So there
That
was a couple things on my first flight. One was for one, it told me I was in Class D airspace, and I was not. So I didn't. I was like, I've flown here 100 times. I've air mapped it. Like there's nothing over here that's Class D. So
Right.
it's got some outdated. I don't know if there used to be a hospital or whatever over there, but it is not. It's my favorite place to fly. But the other thing is, it said when I took off, it said that the like the motors were overloaded, so it would reduce speed. And I didn't know if that was because it had the Zenmuse X5 on it.
No, because it'll handle the X5.
Yeah.
It'll actually lift more than the X5.
That's what I thought.
But you know, you never want to work things to their maximum capacity, right?
Right. And I didn't know if I was pushing the stick too hard, and I was just because I didn't know how fast the thing was when I took off. It just shot up in the air.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, you're gonna want to. I don't know if you pinch or thumb your sticks, but for precision flight with that thing, you're gonna want to start pinching.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, the first time I met Bill Horitz, Bill the drone reviewer, I had my Inspire then. I had one of them, and I brought it down over a 3-foot wide sidewalk that was surrounded by tall bushes and shrubbery.
Mm-hmm.
And the sidewalk was kind of a meandering, lazy, turning sidewalk.
Yeah.
I brought it down 6 inches off the ground, brought it up the curvy sidewalk between two trash cans, between Bill and I, that were 3 foot from a trash can, and landed it next to me wearing shorts, you know. It is so precise and so maneuverable that you'll be amazed. And the more gentle you can move the sticks, the more precise you can be with it, just because it's heavy enough to hold. But then the other thing is, out in the open air, it will drift a little bit. And I remember you said something on your video that it seemed like it was drifting a little.
Yep.
And it will drift a little bit. That's just the nature of the beast. It will not hold rock steady like, say, a brand new Mavic or something like that.
Yeah. My unique Typhoons, the Inspire actually flies a lot like the Typhoons that I have.
Yep.
Like they're fast tugboats.
Yep.
That take a long time to slow down.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself plenty of room to slow down.
Yep.
And the hover, even though it does hover in place, but like my Mavics and my Sparks and like everything that's foldable that has come out lately, like just does not move at all. Whereas
pretty much where these things kind of, yeah,
they're just kind of moving around, and I was like, I see this big lawnmower coming at me, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that up in the air.
they're the gorilla in the sky, that's for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, it is. In fact, the only reason I got rid of mine is because that aircraft is coming to end of life. There's guys that love them that won't part with them. Jim Boyd's one. He'll never part with his Inspire because it has none of the new technology in it.
Yeah.
For the, all that stuff, and it never will. In fact, I think you could still fly that on the Go 4 app and on the, is it DJI Go or the new Go 4, the older version of the Go 4 app. Yeah. If you can still download that, you can actually fly it on that, I think. And the OcuSync technology is, OcuSync, Lightbridge technology is okay, but you will get interference from different signal frequencies at times.
Okay.
So you'll lose your video.
I noticed in the middle of my first flight, I had my phone plugged into it, and I wasn't very far. Like I was literally on the other side of the parking lot, maybe 400 or 500 feet away, and I noticed that my phone connection stopped and then started again because I've got this kind of weird thing that my phone says whenever I plug it into the charger, and it did that. So I got the black screen. I still had control of the drone,
Yep,
but I
you
didn't
will.
have any visual.
You will. If the app you're using has a setting for charging your phone while you're flying, turn that off.
Okay.
You never want to have that on anyway because it takes away from your controller battery.
Sure.
The other thing is Android or Apple video. Okay. That shouldn't be the problem then, because I have two iPads. I have a 9 or 10 inch, and I have the Mini 4, 128 gig, both of them. And the only reason I have them is for flying DJI drones, because I do not use Apple for anything.
Sure.
But Apple plays really well with DJI gear. So I was just, when you had that connection problem, I thought, I wonder if that's an Android phone, because that was the reason I bought Apple's, because my Android phone kept disconnecting video.
Yeah.
And that was the reason I got an iOS display.
I've got this guy that I'm about to.
That'll work good. That's the Crystal Sky, right? The big one?
Yep.
Yeah. See, I've just got the little one, so I'm kind of jealous. But.
Yeah. This is the year that I've been buying, I've been finding all these amazing deals this year. Like, I got that that's the Ultra Bright. So that's the top dog, 2,000 nits. I got it for $550 on eBay from Turkey. Wow. And it has a custom Android on it, so that it's got Google Play Store on it. So
well, you could sideload that anyway. You could APK load Google on it and run Google stuff anyway. But
so I already have the Autel. I can fly my Autel Evo Pro 2 on it as well. But Parrot, I was trying to get my Parrot Anafi on there, and that I can get I can fly a Bebop on it, but I can't fly my Anafi on it.
Oh, on the Crystal Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can control my Insta360 Pro on it. So I've got this beautiful bright tablet that I can control all my devices now.
Yeah, okay. Now the X5, that's not a zoom camera, is it? I don't remember. You don't have the zoom lens, right? You've got the 15 millimeter lens?
Yeah, I have the 15 millimeter lens. I bought the Olympus. There was an Olympus that had zoom capabilities on it. But it didn't fit.
Okay.
Like it was a little too wide, so I sent that back to Amazon.
Look for a Z3.
Okay.
Zenmuse Z3.
Okay. Is that the X3 with zoom?
That's the X3 zoom, yeah. Is what that is. And someplace either in my video storage or maybe on one of my videos on my channel, I was out in California and I was at the Oceanside Harbor in Oceanside, and exactly 1 mile south of the harbor is the Oceanside Pier. And that's actually a Mariner landmark at the 1 mile point, letting you know that you're 1 mile from the harbor. So with my Inspire over the mouth of the harbor, I pointed it at the pier, and it was a dot, right, a speck, because it's exactly 1 mile away. And by the time I got done zooming with that Z3, it filled the whole frame.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So it's only a 12 megapixel camera, but it's an impressive zoom, and it does a really good job. And you can probably get one for $200-300.
Very cool.
Which is the very cool part about that, because those cameras are not cheap. But yeah, the Z3 is a great camera.
Hey Mel, I'm going to do something weird that I don't usually do.
Should I be scared?
You should. My pizza just got here, so I'm going to give you the show for 2 minutes. You ready?
Oh, sure.
Don't say anything stupid, all right? I'll be
No,
right
let's see. I'm going to see how many cuss words I can write down in 60 seconds here. Man, must be nice to be going and getting pizza. Sample of your Z3 Zoom. Let's take a look at that. If I can get it to open, and I believe I can. Now, how far away was the drone from the tractor? Ed, I think that's Ed, right? Eat more possum. How far away was the drone from the tractor? Because that's a really good example to show Sean what the capability of the Z3 is. That's actually a really good example. I wish I could play that up on the screen. Sean will have to do it.
All right. Oh, no.
Ed, I think it's Ed, Eat More Possum, put a link into a video. It's like a 10-second clip that shows some Z3 Zoom capabilities. Oh, it's Brent. Is that Eat More Possum is Brent?
Yep, Brent Newman.
Oh, what happened to the Brent? I thought he had a Brent name.
There's a Brent
Did
Nunley,
you?
too.
Yeah.
Brent Nunley, I had the two Brents that keep showing up.
I'm confused.
Causing trouble.
So yeah, that's a really decent example of the zoom capability on the Z3. If you go look at that.
All right.
And it's a 1080, you know, it's not a 4K camera, it's nothing super fancy, but it does a decent job.
Oh, it's only a 1080 camera?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't have all that fancy 4K stuff back when we were young, you know. I mean, back when I was young. It was back in the olden days.
Yep. I started off on the Phantom Standard, so I didn't have 4K then either.
Mine was a Phantom 3 standard as well. Yep.
Oh, actually, I started on the Parrot AR drone. 2.
Well, that's what I started with was the AR2. Yep.
Yep.
And that lasted for, well, I bought that on a whim, total impulse.
Yeah, me too.
I was trucking and my phone went berserk, and I walked into this Verizon store to get my phone fixed. And one of the employees in the store was in there flying one of those in the store from his phone, right? Making it do flips and stuff.
Yep.
Well, I handed the guy at the counter my phone because it was all set up through Verizon to go there. And I said, when you're done fixing this, add that to my ticket. I'm taking one home with me, you know, taking one out of here. And so I bought it and blew quite a bit and gave it to my brother when I bought my first Phantom. And so that was my stepping stone was the AR2. Yep, sure enough.
Yep, I had the AR2. I took it out to a campground, and I think it had like plastic gears or something. I feel like it had ripped the gear really quick.
Motors with a like a pinion and spur drive. Yeah. Like a pinion gear on the motor and a spur gear on the bottom of the prop. Yeah, I seem to remember something like that.
Yeah, I found mine it was a bargain hunt, and it was I got it for really cheap. It was really cool. It had like black and white camo all over it, like digital camo, and but the return policy at Bargain Hunt is so amazing that I flew it, and like I didn't hit anything or crash anything. Like it just like I only flew it like maybe four batteries in, and all of a sudden one of the motors wouldn't turn. So I took it back, and they had another one, and so I just swapped it out for that one, and then I flew it, for this, the same thing happened. I flew it for I got maybe 6 flights out of that one. I used to do it with my iPad, and you just turn
Right.
your iPad this
Yep.
way, and
Same thing with your phone. Yeah. You could
and
fly it with tilt. Yeah. Kind of like
and then
heads
that-
up almost.
and then that one didn't work out for me either. So I just took it back, and I didn't lose any money on it.
Oh man.
It
See,
crapped out in my 30-day return policy time. So,
I got my Phantom. I gave that one to my brother. I bought a GPS module for it and showed him how to use the GPS module to fly it and stuff. And then he turned around and gave it to somebody else when I gave him a Spark. And now he's got I gave him last year before, sometime I gave him a Mavic Pro and an iPad. But so now he flies a Mavic Pro. I don't think he flies a Spark hardly ever anymore. Yeah, I think I paid $400 for mine when I got it.
yep.
But it was really new on the market.
Yeah. What's funny is Brent said that was a lot for a drone back then.
Uh-huh.
Like $300 for a drone nowadays is nothing,
And that's what the batteries cost nowadays.
right?
So yeah, but the Inspire, and if you're only getting 10 minutes of flight time, you're getting a little gypped on your batteries. What are your cells reading when they're fully charged? Have you looked at them?
I haven't got into that yet. I have.
Go look at the individual cells and make sure you don't have one that's kind of sagging a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you do, the standard, put it in, turn it on, let it sit there and idle till the battery is under 5%, and then recharge it, and that may reset the cells.
Okay.
That's what DJI will tell you to do. That's what they told me to do. So I'm guessing that's what they tell you to do. When I first got my Phantom 3 standard, it had a problem, and I got on the phone with DJI tech support, and they had me recycle the battery, and that's what they did. They ran it to under 5%, like 4%, and then shut everything off and recharged the battery and try it again, and it was still messed up. So they said, you bought it at Walmart, go take it back and swap it for another one because there's something wrong with that one, So I took it back and swapped it, but you should get a solid 15 minutes of flight time out of that thing.
Yeah.
Solid 15 minutes.
I think the battery that I flew with might have been the one that he was showing me things with.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that it was all charged all the way. I meant to go out and try it today. I've got another battery that's charged all the way. One battery, when I plug it in, it's at 3. Whatever they're called.
Yep.
Starbursts or whatever.
Well, it's just percentage.
Yeah, but it blinks it on the third one. Like it goes to the third one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
if you just press the button and release it, don't turn it on.
this is when I plug this one in,
Yeah.
it won't charge any farther than the 3, and it blinks at the 3.
Well, blinking means it's charging.
Yeah, well, it doesn't
But
go
it
doesn't go up. When
Yeah.
it's charging it'll do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one
Well, it'll only go as far as it's charged. I mean, if it's charged at 50%, then it'll only blink the first 2 lights. You know what I mean?
right. But I guess what I'm saying is
If it does nothing and doesn't ever go higher than 3,
yeah. See, it's just blinking. It's not.
oh, that's flashing a code. There's something wrong with that one.
Yeah.
The other ones blink in succession, right, as they're charging?
Right.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that battery.
Okay.
Don't buy it.
That's probably why I threw it in for free.
I would think so. Yeah, because those are smart batteries still. They've got the circuit board on the top of the cells inside that white cover. And I designed, in fact, I'll email you the file. I designed a snap-on battery cover to go over the batteries.
Okay. Oh, cool.
And printed it. I had a bunch of them. I may still have some at the house there. I have a charger that you might be interested in.
Okay.
It'll charge all 4 batteries and 2 controllers all at the same time.
That's nice.
And I mean at the same time. And it's about that long and about that tall and about that deep, and it weighs about 1,500 pounds. No, it's probably 25 pounds. I mean, it's really heavy.
Is it going to blow up my house?
No, it's designed for those batteries. It's designed to charge those batteries. It slides right down in the slot and plugs in just like it was putting it in the drone.
Very cool.
Yeah. But it'll charge, I think, 4 at once. I think it's a 4 or 5 bay, 4 batteries, I think, at one time. Yeah. You can have it. Got no use for it. I was going to sell it with the drone, but it weighed more than the drone to try to ship it. So no.
All right.
But it was pretty expensive in its time. I'll get a picture of it and email it to you. You can actually run out to the house here and pick it up. I can have my brother meet you down by the truck stop or something and give it to you.
Okay.
It just takes I don't know what cables are there with it, what he'll be able to find, but takes a regular, like a PC power cable, like you plug in the back of a PC.
Yep.
Yeah. Just plug that in, plug it into the wall, drop the batteries in. Good to go. It'll discharge them and cycle them and do all kinds of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool. I got no use for it. It's a boat anchor, paperweight.
I appreciate that.
Just sitting there at the house collecting dust. You can have it. Since you live so close, it's like, if you want to go get it, you can have it, but I ain't shipping it to nobody. Cost way more. Cost $300 to ship it from me to you, probably, and I only live 100 miles from you.
Yeah.
So not even that really, but round numbers. Trying to think of anything else that I can tell you. The most important thing is turn off that automatic landing gear thing. I know it's really cool to be showing off and say, oh, watch this. It takes off and raises its own landing gear and blah, blah, That's all cool and everything, but bad idea.
I don't like the automatic. I like the automatic, like when it takes off. I like that part. But yeah. I mean, I've been flying the Unique Typhoons for years. There's a landing gear switch. And so, I mean, I'm used to
it. And
it.
It's not automatic. You have to put the landing gear up.
Yeah, you flip. It's a conscious. I know where the landing gear is right now.
Part of your takeoff checklist. Yeah. So, just make that part. Just turn that off and make it part of your pre-flight checklist when you take off and you do your ops check. I saw you do that the other day on your video, just to make sure everything's operating correctly and doing what it's supposed to do before you send it out.
Yep.
And that's your last step. Ops check good, landing gear up, go fly.
Awesome.
And then tilt your camera up for takeoff and landing.
I think that's a great tip.
That'll keep you from splattering stuff against the glass. Yeah, with the prop wash.
Yeah, I had I can't remember. It might have been my Air One, where I went to land on the landing gear. And then I don't remember if it was a gust of wind or if my thumb twitched or what happened, but I ended up landing right next to my landing pad in the grass and mowed the grass a little bit with my drone.
Right.
And I got all this green crap on my lens, and it took a little bit to get that green crap off.
Yep.
So that's a great tip. I completely understand why you'd say that.
I try to do that even with my Mavic Pro and stuff. I try to remember, just bring the lens up just a little bit, just so it's not getting the direct brunt of the prop wash of dust and stuff. But, I've got pretty good landing pads too, though.
Oh, that's nice. Is that a nylon or?
PVC.
PVC?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it's heavy enough that moderate breeze doesn't blow it around, and bright colored, you can't miss it. it stands out against the grass really well, you know.
Yeah. I saw a really funny. I mean, it wasn't funny for the guy that it happened to, but it was it was a landing pad fail. It was one of those, those. It's like a wire with like a fabric, and you undo it and lay it down on the ground.
Oh yeah, the round
Yeah.
ones that flip open that you can never fold back up and put in the same bag again.
Yeah, it's got a big H in the middle of it. And,
Right.
yeah. So he took off with it was a Phantom. I don't know if it was a 4 or 3 or what, but he had the Phantom like, you know, um, 6 feet or 10 feet off of the ground, just kind of hovering. And he's like taking his phone and taking pictures of it up in the air or whatever. And a big gust of wind lifts the landing pad up in the air and just slams it right into the side of his Phantom. And his Phantom just comes crashing down on the ground.
Oh no.
It's like a big parachute, like just lifted it up and just slammed it right into his drone.
Right.
It's funny.
Let's see. I'm looking for some, because I know you probably haven't seen this footage, but I had a. Should I do share video file? How does that work? What happens if
if you have a video file on your computer, you can share that.
Okay.
And it's got like a play button, and you can scrub the video and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Or you can just share a screen or a tab in Chrome.
Let's see. Cancel that. Start over. Video file. Oh, that's why. Okay. What are you printing? I hear your printer running in the background back there.
Oh, I'm printing it's a mount that goes up in the camera, and then I added a GoPro attachment to it.
Oh, for your Inspire?
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to get it is I have an 8K 360 camera that I want to put up in the air, and my Mavics just can't handle.
Yeah. Let's see. You want to be careful with that.
Okay.
I'm going to try sharing this video file. I don't know what's going on. I've never done it with a video file before. Now this is, and you can scrub through this if you want to, but this is the Inspire footage. And I'm looking for, it's in this folder here. Don't know. It's in this one. V1, V2, don't know.
You got a goose back there, not quite sure about your drone.
There's 3 of them actually. Okay, let's go back to here. Did it quit playing? Oh, it's just hovering there.
Yeah, it's hovering.
Okay, so it's about to make a left turn. I'm flying it to the left, and I've got a brand new, and I do mean brand new, 4-day-old Mavic Pro Platinum following the Inspire with active track.
Oh, cool.
Until right there.
Did it run right into it?
Well, take a look at this video file. Now, I had a very, very inexperienced pilot holding the controller of the Mavic because I thought, what could go wrong? And I'm flying my Inspire, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
there's a reason we avoid other aircraft.
Yeah.
They weren't socially distanced.
Well, I get the Mavic in position and get the active track activated, and then I hand him the controller, and then I pick up the Inspire controller and start flying. And by the way, that's the Z3 camera hanging on the drone right now.
Okay.
There I am with my screwed up leg. See, now they're safely distanced. Are you happy?
They're 6 feet apart. I like it. I don't see the mask, but we're good.
Yeah, this is before the bureaucratic nonsense started. But anyway, this was, I'm going to say, when did I buy my Mavic Pro Platinum? I bought the Mavic Pro Platinum right after they came out.
Okay.
Okay, so it was really new, and it was 4 days old in this video footage. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just test flying it, kind of like shakedown flying it, testing things out.
Yep.
I haven't even logged on to the FAA and registered it yet at this point.
Okay.
Okay. That's how new it is. So and there's short version videos from all this footage and stuff on my channel, but you're getting the raw clips.
I like it raw. It's not doing a very good job tracking it. I'm just going to say that. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think we're getting that set up now.
Gotcha. Oh, that's why you were hovering, because you were
Yeah.
playing with the other drone. Got it.
Yeah. So now I'm trying to get everything set so that we can do what we're doing, and I can do my test, you know. But what's chat thinking? Is chat enjoying this?
Chat hasn't said anything for a long time. I think they're just
they've all left us.
That's all right.
I can honestly say, knock on wood, this is my one and only ever actual drone crash.
All right.
Only time I've ever crashed a drone. And believe it or not, I never even crashed the Parrot, the AR2.
Yep.
Now see right here, the Mavic got really, really close, and I thought, this is bothering me. And then it gets even closer, and I'm like, I thought, well, maybe I just need to move. I just need to get going. So then I stop again.
What? That's scary.
And I'm like, well, I don't know here. But I took off again, and I thought, okay, you know what? It's got a good lock on it, and it's working good. Boy, I'll say it had a good lock on it.
Just don't stop.
And you know what? That's the trick. Because I stopped.
God. Oh, that hurts me.
Both of them from about 25 feet in the air.
What was the damage?
Both of them were totaled $1,200, $1,300 all told.
Wow.
to get them both fixed and the camera.
Yeah, because it looked like the Mavic, like the gimbal, it looked like it went straight into the back of the
It
Inspire.
did. It went right into the props, right between the props, right into the back of the Inspire. The Mavic gimbal was kind of hanging like this by wires, and it had a broken leg and broken props and broken case. And the Inspire had broken legs and broken arms, and the battery actually ejected.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it ejected about 50% of the distance, and it tweaked the frame, the chassis on the Inspire, to where I couldn't even put a new battery back in it. It was like twisted so bad that a battery would not slide down in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I thought it was junk, which is, I came across a deal on another one, which is how I ended up with 2 Inspire 1 version 2s, because I thought, sure, that one would just be totaled and not repairable. And I couldn't be with that one, so I bought one. And then I got the news that that one could be fixed, so I had it fixed. So then I had 2.
Nice.
And an X3 and a Z3 is, an X3, a Z3, and an X5.
So
and filters.
The Z3, you said, is only 1080?
I'm pretty sure.
And is that because the Z3 isn't much different than the X3? It's just zooming in digitally?
No.
Is it lossless, or is
yes, it's lossless. Yes.
So I wonder if it's actually a 4K camera, but the 7x zoom is just you're zooming in, you're cropping in on that feed.
You know what? I don't remember and I don't know, so don't get me lying to you.
I want to get you lying on here.
I haven't, and it ain't gonna happen. I haven't had one in years, so I don't remember all the stats on that camera.
Okay.
I can tell you that I trusted that drone over water, that I put that camera 2 inches off the surface of water.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do that. If I try that,
and this was salt water too.
If I try that, a fish is going to jump up, or something stupid's going to happen.
Yeah, I was actually trying to see fish in the water.
Wow.
But by then you couldn't see into the water because the prop wash looked like a Harrier jet on the surface of the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a 4K. It is a 4K camera.
Is it? Yeah, I couldn't remember. I thought it was 1080, but
just like every other little camera, if you're shooting in 4K, you're limited on what the camera can do. If you're shooting at 1080, you can do a lot more with it.
Right.
So it's the same. It's the
sure. Yeah, give and take. Yep. The balance. But the zoom, the Z3 camera is, for a low cost camera, phenomenal. It'll do a great job. You'd be really happy with it. I mean, you've got, with that X5, you've got the Mac Daddy as far as cameras go for the Inspire 1. But that Z3 will have a place. It'll have a job to do.
Okay.
So
I can get a refurbished one for $650 on eBay.
Oh, you can find them cheaper than that.
Will the do you know if it'll work on the Osmo handle?
Yes.
Okay. Because this whole journey started because I'm going to church camp this summer, and I'm the videographer, so I decided to get the Zenmuse 5. Is kind of where it started. And then I saw this drone for $550, and I was like, and it didn't come with a camera, and I was like, I already got a camera. So.
Yeah, see, I never messed with any of that, Brent. I just chose not to mess with balancing weights and stuff.
Yeah.
That it just, to me, you're putting a lot of load on your gimbal motors and stuff, making them move that extra weight and everything. So, and if you don't get the balance just right, they're always struggling and fighting. So, yeah, to me, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Sure.
But when I was flying the Inspire 2 with the X7 out in California, that was, talk about a rock steady platform in the sky. That was it. Amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
And I noticed the Inspire 2s have 2 batteries on the back of them.
Yeah.
Can they fly twice as much? Or is it?
You get about 20 minutes on an Inspire 2. Yeah. Yeah. Safely. You can probably push it to 25, but yeah. That's pushing it. Really pushing it. For getting it back safe, unless you're 2 feet away from you, and that's a different story. But
right.
So yeah, just be careful with the loading on that gimbal plate.
Okay.
There's 2 ribbon cables, and see, that's another thing is the Inspire 1 was different than the Inspire 2. I think the gimbal mount on the top side of the gimbal mount on the gimbal plate, there's 2 ribbon cables that go up to the circuit boards. And if you ever have any trouble with your video, your camera gets twitchy, your video goes out or anything like that, check those ribbon cables on the top of the gimbal mount before you do anything else. I was having a problem with my first Inspire and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. And I went to Frank at Carolina Drones, and he was going to give me a ribbon cable. He took one out of a brand new drone on the bench. And I said, well, I'm going to watch you take yours apart, and I'm going to see if I can do this one. He's like, okay. And he went off into the warehouse. I flipped my drone over and started taking it apart. And when I got the gimbal loose, it was like they were unplugged. So I said, hey, Frank. He come back over and he looked. He goes, well, I'd say that's probably your problem.
Yeah.
So we plugged them back in. We put the screws back in it. We hung the camera on it. Everything was wonderful. I said, okay, so what's the solution should this happen again? It obviously happened somehow. He said, well, a little bit of hot glue on those plugs to keep them plugged in will save your grief for the rest of your life with this drone. So we stuck a little hot glue on them and done deal. So just know that those plugs do come unplugged from the top of the gimbal mount on the gimbal plate itself.
Okay. You think they vibrated loose?
I have no idea what caused it. It was like that when I got the drone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I have no clue, to be honest with you. Yeah, so you already changed it to mode 1.
2.
I told you about press and hold on the screen.
Yep.
And I told you about the landing gear. And I told you about the gimbal angle when you're landing and taking off. The tips of those props will have a tendency to get little chips in them.
Okay.
That you may not notice. And in fact, sometimes, and I've had this actually happen, where the tip of the prop actually broke off, like 1/8 of an inch of the tip.
Uh-huh.
But it broke off so straight across that it didn't look broke by looking at it. So always inspect your props really, really good.
Okay.
Because those 12 or 14-inch props, you get 1/8 of an inch off of one end, that puts them out of balance pretty bad.
Okay.
So that, and I learned that by having a vibration in a motor, and I was like, what's wrong? Well, I discovered that about 1/8 of an inch of one of the prop tips had come off. And to look at the prop, you stand there and look at it, it looked perfectly fine. It was that clean of a break.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I can't think of any other things other than the fun stuff, being able to move the camera, being able to use a second controller to actually operate the camera while someone flies the drone. And there's settings in the app where you can pair up a second controller and it make one the master, one the slave, etc.
Mhm. Yeah.
All of that stuff. No, never worried about the battery insulator jackets. I always kept them in my pocket or in my coat pocket, you know, in my inside pocket or something, or in the car in the winter. I've never done that with any of my drone batteries. Yeah, that's all the tips I can give you, other than when you take off, don't use a lot of stick. Just
Noted.
yeah, just gently, you know, throttle it up. You can hear the RPMs. You can once you learn how it sounds, you'll know when you've got just about enough RPMs for it to take off. And then one or two more clicks on the throttle and it'll start raising up. So you'll know, you'll learn the sound of it.
Yeah.
Because every one of them have a unique sound. But yeah, don't just crank the throttle to it, because it'll be like the Starship Enterprise. 1 minute it's there, 1 minute it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's way up there. Warp drive.
Cool.
You can bring it down to about a foot off the ground without actually landing it. So I would say practice like that, moving it around between obstacles and things, just to get a feel of how it moves slowly. And that way, if it does come to the ground, it's only falling a foot and it's not going to hurt anything.
Cool. That's good advice.
And the antennas in the legs are pretty sensitive, so you want to try to keep it facing away from you or facing toward you rather than sideways to you. Okay. So if you're doing a shot, try to always keep it facing away and then use your finger and move the gimbal. You can set a button on the back of the controller to recenter the gimbal like you can on the Mavic, so it'll pop it down and then up to level. That way you can get the gimbal back straight from whatever position it might have been in. Okay. It'll recenter it.
Yeah, I noticed there's different lens modes. There's like FP, and like one of them locks the gimbal pointing in one direction, and so you can fly the drone in a different direction while the camera's pointing over there.
Yeah, you can do that. It's like an FPV mode and a follow mode and a track mode or something like that.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of interesting to play with if you're shooting a stationary subject. But if you're shooting a moving subject, right, it doesn't work.
But if in the video that I posted, where I was going in front of this, like let's say that school that I was pointing at. If I flew straight down the road, but I pointed my camera to the right and was pointing at and I did like a cable cam all the way across, pointing at the school, it'd be better if the back of the drone was pointing at me as opposed to me flying the drone sideways.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And the nice thing about being able to move the gimbal with your finger on the screen, and you need to learn that technique and practice it so that you can get good at it, because there's a little bit of latency from when you move, for the camera to catch up to you. So you got your controller on. Do you use a tray or anything, or a lanyard?
Sometimes I think I'll probably use a lanyard with that Crystal Sky.
I would recommend getting the tray. Okay. The aluminum tray that you can. It's called a controller tray. I can go get mine and show you what it looks like if you've never seen one. It's got a shoulder harness that's got double clips.
Okay.
That the controller will actually sit in a tray and it's hands free.
Okay.
And then that way you don't have to hold the controller. Use your right hand to do all the controls and use your left hand to move the gimbal while you're flying. Okay. Stuff like that. Just short of having a 2-man operation, it just makes it work out really, really cool.
I've got for my Unique Typhoon, I've got it's almost like a back brace belt that kind of wraps around to my stomach, and then it's got like a carbon fiber front that gives a nice brace, and then it has like a little rod that comes up where I put my controller on. I can attach my controller. I've got that, and then I do have a shoulder, like a two lanyard.
Comes down with, and it hooks on each side of the. Yeah, that's what that's what I've got for mine when I use it. That makes it really handy because then you don't have to hold on to the controller.
Yeah,
it makes the controller totally hands free of you. You can drink 2 beers at one time with your controller in your lap. You know what I mean? Really, really handy for doing that.
Okay. I know Brent, I think Eat More Possum had a tripod that he would mount his controller to. I feel like he showed me a picture of that. I don't remember. But
I've got a tripod that I mount my big tablet to. It'll go in the drone in the controller too, but it's got a tripod thread, 1/4 thread on the bottom of it also, where I can mount it on a tripod.
Okay.
To hold the monitor. Kind of like this one. This is the Crystal Sky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have the 1/4 in the bottom of it, so it does me no good for putting it on a tripod.
Does your Crystal Sky have a tripod in the side of it? 1/4 in the left or right of it?
Nope.
Because the big one, it's got one here, one here. It's got 2 down there.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. I got an earphone jack. Kind of looks like a 1/4, but it's not. All the control buttons, function buttons on that side, and then just the mount.
Yeah.
And that's the good mount. Who's it made by? I can't remember.
It looks like Polar Pro.
Uh,
it's got the gold, their signature.
That might be who it is. I don't remember. But yeah, it's does a good job. But I like that 10-inch iPad tablet. It works really good.
Yeah.
Old eyes,
I hear you. Well, we're talking about old professionals tonight. Old professional tech. So, no. Mel, I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
We're 15 minutes past 8, so.
Heaven forbid.
I know.
Yeah, that's all that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
But the couple of the most important things, like I said, turn off that auto landing gear thing and just tilt your camera up. Those will, believe it or not, that landing gear thing might. And this guy told me, he said, yeah, turn that off. That might save your butt one day. Yeah, okay, whatever, Older, wiser, more experienced pilot passing young man information. I thought, okay, I'll take that, So I did. Sure as shit, man. Like 2 weeks later, I hit that bridge and ruined the prop and had to land. Had no time.
Yeah.
No time for nothing, That video's on my channel if you want to see that video. It's pretty crazy. But anyway.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll email you about picking up that battery thing.
Yeah, I'll have I'll arrange for my brother to bring it down there at the truck stop. Exit 126.
Okay.
Yeah, just about 50 miles short of Jackson. So
Okay.
like Nashville's like the 210, middle of town 200 ish.
Yeah.
So yeah, 126, 74 miles. That's not terrible.
Sounds good.
And you'll enjoy that charger. It really does the job.
Cool. I'm
And I
excited.
don't know. I know there's cables that go to plug in the controllers. I don't know where they are off the top of my head. My brother doesn't know what they are, so he's probably not going to find them. But if he finds the charger, that's all that matters.
Cool.
Because even the power cable port is just a simple 3-prong, power cable. But yeah, you'll like it.
Very cool.
Yeah, because it'll cycle the batteries. It'll do all kinds of stuff.
All right. So is there anything you want to promote from your channel, or when do you do your live streams, or any of that kind of stuff?
Sunday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
I have a membership set up. Feel free to join, please. Support the channel. I'm in the process of doing some other things, some terrestrial RC stuff.
Okay.
If we weren't live, I'd tell you what I got going on. But anyway,
All right.
videos are coming.
All right. You said that 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, 6 p.m. on Sundays.
Is that Central or Eastern?
Central time.
Central Standard Time. All right.
Yep.
So everybody go check out Mel. Most people show up on my live stream after the fact. So
probably everybody here knows already, but which is probably why they quit chatting, because I came on, they all left.
Yeah, Brent just plays us in the background.
See you later, Sean.
All right, see you, Mel.
Bye.
All right, y'all, that was it. That was an unexpected guest appearance from Mel from 400 AGL. Hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell for notifications when I put out more videos about the Inspire by DJI. Old technology, 3D printing, cameras. We do a lot of stuff on this channel. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful night, y'all. Peace out.